Okay, in this tutorial here we're going to be investigating the circumference of a circle, and I'm going to be just briefly explaining some of the stuff we did before, just about what is a circle, and also the parts of the circle. So here's the next slide. We'll go right there. What is a circle in the first place? And here's the definition. All points on a circle are the same distance from the center of the circle. So we did in class, what we did was try to figure out, well, where is the center of a circle? And we learned a little trick. You use a ruler and a square. And so you draw a line segment from touching the circle on both sides and then find halfway between. So maybe you drew 4 centimeters and then marked at 2 centimeters. And you did another one, anywhere on the circle except directly opposite. And you'll see why. And maybe this one was 6 centimeters and you marked it at 3. And then you used your square to draw a perpendicular line. You didn't have to go all the way out, and a perpendicular line from AB and a perpendicular line from DC. And those perpendicular lines met in the middle, and that was the center. So that's how we can find the center. And according to the definition then, the line segments, if we drew a line segment from F to A, or from F to B, or from F to C, they would all be the same length. And that length is called the radius of the circle. Okay, so this is just a little bit of review. So radius and diameter. We have to understand that the longest line segment in any circle is the diameter of the circle. Okay, and the diameter passes through the center. And so then the radius is 1/2 the length of the diameter. Therefore, R is equal to D divided by 2. Remember, D over 2 like that means D divided by 2. R stands for radius, D stands for diameter, so this is radius is equal diameter divided by 2. And we also know that the diameter is 2 times the length of the radius. Therefore, it needs an E. Therefore, D is equal to 2R. Don't forget, D means diameter, R means radius, so this is diameter equals 2 times R. Remember algebra, okay? That numerical coefficient and the variable, that means 2 times R. All right, so let's look at the next bit. The circumference of the circle. We did this in class. We measured a bunch of different cylinders, to measure the circle bases, and we found that our circumference using the measuring tape always had a relationship with the diameter. And that relationship is that if you divide or C divided by D, it will result in a number, and we got somewhere near this, but not exactly but around 3.14, or a magical irrational number called pi. And you also know that if you multiplied the diameter times this 3.14, or around 3, you'd get around the circumference. So as you can see, there's a relationship between circumference and diameter, and it's an irrational number. I'll talk about that in a second. And it's been given a name. It's a Greek letter called pi, or the symbol pi. It looks like a little table. When I draw it, I usually put a squiggle on the top. And let's see if I can draw that for you here. Okay, so I'm going to draw it, and it's going to look something like this. I do a little squiggle. It's just the type font here does it with a straight line on top, but you see when I draw it, it's going to look like that. So if you look at this data above, you can see 3 different equations you can make from this. If the circumference divided by the diameter is going to give you pi. Look at that, 25 divided by 8, yeah, it's around 3. Also that the circumference is equal to the pi times the diameter. So here, 25.13, that's equal to about 8 times 3, or 24. It's around the same. And diameter is equal to circumference divided by pi. So 10 is equal to, that's a good one, 10 diameter is equal to the circumference divided by pi. 31.4 divided by 3.14, that's 10. So we have those 3 equations. I'm going to show you the rest in part 2.